This is VOA News. I'm Steve Miller. Niger's president says that elements of the Presidential Guard tried to move against him and that the army will attack if they don't back down. President Mohamed Bazoum's official account tweeted on the X platform that some of the Presidential Guard engaged in an anti-Republican demonstration and tried in vain to obtain support of other security forces. It's unclear what ignited the tensions. But on Wednesday, streets surrounding the presidential palace in the capital of Niamey were blocked off, as were some of the ministries. The African Union Commission chairperson, Moussa Faki Mahamat, on Wednesday strongly condemned what he said appeared to be an attempted coup in Niger and called on the treasonous soldiers involved to stop immediately. Longtime Cambodian leader Hun Sen says that he will step down as prime minister in 3 weeks and hand the position to his oldest son. We hear from AP correspondent Lawrence Brooks.
The announcement comes after the Cambodian People's Party won a landslide victory in elections this weekend that Western countries and rights organizations criticized as being neither free nor fair. Hun Sen has been Cambodia's autocratic leader for 38 years, but said ahead of the elections he would hand off the position to his son, Hun Mane, sometime during the next 5-year term. 45-year-old Hun Mane is currently the country's army chief and won his first seat in parliament during Sunday's election. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
African leaders have begun arriving in St. Petersburg in Russia on Wednesday ahead of the second Russia-Africa Summit and Economic Forum. Food security, as well as the future of the Wagner military group, are expected to be on the top agenda items. For additional stories, visit our website. This is VOA News. The European Union on Wednesday agreed to ban exports of battlefield equipment and aviation parts to Belarus, expanding sanctions on the Kremlin ally for its involvement in Russia's war against Ukraine. Spain, the current holder of the EU's rotating chairmanship, said in a post on social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, that the new sanctions were a response to the, quote, situation in Belarus and the involvement of Belarus in the Russian aggression against Ukraine, end quote. The decision still must be finalized and will take effect if none of the bloc's 27 member states raise last-minute objections by Friday. The first known fatalities were reported on Tuesday in the wildfires that have been raging on the Greek islands for a week. At least 3 people are reported dead, including 2 pilots who crashed when their plane went down as they were dropping water on the flames. We hear more from Reuters' Joel Flynn.
The pair became some of the first known fatalities of blazes that have been raging on the Greek islands for a week. State broadcaster ERT separately reported that the body of a 41-year-old stock breeder was found burned in a shack in a hard-to-reach area, also on Evia. Turkish and Slovakian forces have helped hundreds of Greek firefighters battle blazes that have raged on the islands of Rhodes, Corfu and Evia since Wednesday. Hot windy conditions have seen a resurgence in the fires and warnings that they could yet get worse.
That is Joel Flynn of Reuters News. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is making his first official visit to New Zealand Wednesday. Phil Mercer from Sydney has that story.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says he wants to strengthen the special relationship. His counterpart Chris Hipkins believes that bilateral ties are the strongest they've been in decades. Trade will be on the agenda as the two countries celebrate the 40th anniversary of the closer economic relations free trade agreement. Analysts say that China's diplomatic, trade and military ambitions in the Pacific region will also be discussed by the two leaders during Albanese's 2-day visit. Phil Mercer for VOA News, Sydney.
A Palestinian man was killed by Israeli troops during an arrest raid in the occupied West Bank on Wednesday, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. It's the latest bloodshed in one of the most violent stretches of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in years. Israeli forces entered the Al Ain refugee camp near the West Bank city of Nablus and arrested a suspected militant after surrounding his house, according to the army. For pictures, videos, stories, and more, be sure to follow the Voice of America on social media. I'm Steve Miller, VOA News.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comments section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.